Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good morning to our fellows in the US. It is my great pleasure to welcome you on a conference about our full year 2009 results. Our hosts today are Mr. Tomasz Zadroga, President and CEO of the company, and Wojciech Topolnicki, Vice President for Development and CFO. My name is Przemek Wasilewski. I'm IR Manager and your primary contact for any inquiries. Before we start, just a small technical information. We are sitting in front of a group of domestic investors and analysts, but there is also a significant group of investors watching us via internet. After the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. I guess people sitting here will have no problems asking questions. People sitting in front of their monitors can ask questions by sending an email to us via form that is on our webpage. Then we will read the question and answer it. As simple as that. And now I pass the mic to the President.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning in the US. It is nice to be here. It's a great pleasure from our side to host you, analysts as well as investors of PGE Group. Today early morning we published our financial statements for the whole 2009 results, consolidated results. They looks very well. Revenues increased by 11%, EBITDA margin increased by 37%, and net result increased by 62%. Quite impressive results. Reasons are obvious. First of all, increase of prices in Poland, electricity prices in Poland, and second reason, also clear, consolidation project and savings. Few main issues from my side. First of all, we would like to present our successes in 2009. First success was IPO. It's also clear to everyone on the market. It was the first IPO since May 2008, large IPO. Now it is almost 2 years' time from May 2008 with the one large IPO in Europe. That's our success. No one believed in this project, and we convinced all of you, mainly investors, but also analysts, to believe that even if Polish electricity market is quite weak today, yes, it is still quite weak, but with a huge perspective. We are very perspective market in Poland. Electricity market is highly profitable just now. You see our results, and the market will grow in the next 20 years. That's the potential for growth for everyone on this market. IPO, clear success. Results, clear success. But what we have done until today, we did 3 organizational projects. They are still under process, but anyhow, we started 3 huge processes. First of all, consolidation in core assets. Currently, we still have roughly 50 legal entities in the core business. We want to merge them. We want to have only 5 legal entities, 3 responsible for generation, conventional, renewables and nuclear, 1 distribution and one retail business. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we decided to merge mother company, listed company, together with wholesale business, PGE Elektra, just to have a full control on the value chain of electricity flow in our group. This process is in time. Is due to our timetable accepted 2 years ago. In January, all board of directors in all our core business companies approved merging plans, and we placed them, all of them, in the registration courts. We have currently we will have 5 mergers in distribution, in retail, in renewables, in conventional generation, and finally we will merge PGE listed company with 2 subholdings, mining and generation, and distribution and retail. And we foresee to finalize this process end of August this year, when we will be just after the final stage of Conversion Act. Conversion Act, you know the project very well. It is according by the Polish law, given by the Polish law. It refers to 2 stages conversion of employees' shares into shares of the public listed company. It will come in 2 stages. First of all, our employees have the rights to swap their shares together with the state against the state stakes in 2 subholdings, and it will be finalized in August. And we believe that the second phase merge of the 3 companies will be done in August as well. It will be a new issue of new shares, and of course dilution will come, but it will be for current investors. It will be a smaller piece of the cake, but in the bigger cake, because we will skip minorities on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th level of management currently we have. That's the first project, organizational project. Second one, non-core assets. As you know, we have more than 150 legal entities in non-core activities, like hotels, like healthcare, like sport, like mobile operators, highways. We have almost everything in our portfolio. We decided to sell all of them. Of course, few of them will be consolidated just to increase their values, like hotels and maybe healthcare business will be consolidated. But what is the most important, and the most important hints to you, we want to sell 3 main non-core assets this year: Polkomtel, Exatel, and Autostrady Wielkopolskie. That's our wish. Of course, it is much easier to decide and to steer the process in case of Exatel when we have a full control on this asset, and in Autostrady Wielkopolskie when we are the only one seller on the market. It is a bit different situation in Polkomtel. That's also obvious to everyone that the price for 22% stake will be lower than 75%. So we strongly believe that we will agree with our Polish shareholders in the Polkomtel business to combine our processes, and we strongly believe that this transaction will be done this year as well. That's the second project. And the third one, organizational project, minorities. 1 year and 2 years ago, we bought from the state 5 minorities in 3 power plants and 2 mines. That was the first minorities quit. Second one will be done in August, maybe September. Employees. They will swap their shares, and they will become shareholders of listed company. And the third minority swap shares from the state. They will, after the swap transaction with employees, they will go down to generation, retail, and distribution assets. And we have an option to buy these stakes. of course, under market conditions, and we will decide if it is reasonable. If yes, we will buy these shares. But the transaction cannot be proceed before mid of August, because currently the state has no rights to these shares. Three huge organizational projects, all of them according to our agreed and approved timetables. So we are in line with our timetables. We believe that end of this year we will present more details regarding our saving programs. Second phase of restructuring the whole group. First one is, of course, on the legal procedure, legal process. Second one will come with the figures. And we believe we will present them end of this year, maybe beginning of the first quarter next year. But these three projects are really important to us. But of course, I would say they are technical projects. Just to clarify our org chart, just to make the whole group more clear to everyone, mainly to investors, to different group of interests, employees, financial institutions, to the whole market, as well to URE, Polish regulator. We want to have a clear structure, clear management structure, and by the way, we want to have only 2 management levels, just to speed up dividend payouts. That's also clear. Currently, we have 5 levels of management, so in some cases we need 5 years to get money up, to lift money up to the mother company and to pay dividend to our shareholders. Technical projects, really important, but only technical. The key project to us is investment plan. That's our future. Currently we are in track with all investments. The figures and the projects will be presented by Mr. Topolnicki.
Thank you. Deployment of capital. We have been slightly below the guidance that we have been giving out during the roadshows to various analysts. The guidance was more or less 4 billion zlotys. We are just shy of that. The annualized IFRS capex for 2009 reached 3.7 billion zlotys. Its composition was mainly investment into new generation projects of about 2.5 billion zlotys. The remaining big chunk was distribution, and here we follow the lines we set out in the last 2 years, which means that distribution investments should amount roughly 1 to 1.5 billion zlotys each year, and amounted 1 billion last year. With regard to substantial or major projects, of course the biggest project is still the construction of Bełchatów unit number 13. We have noted a slight delay in this particular project, which in effect did not allow us to reach the full potential or full schedule of investment payouts in 2009. Namely, the reason for this is there was a problem with the design of the boiler aisle of this particular constructor. A significant boiler design was applied in Germany, in Neurath. However, due to a construction failure and a catastrophe in this particular project, the constructor had to stop and redesign this part of the unit of the plant. and we have noted a decrease in the current schedule of roughly 3 to 4 months time. However, what we have done in those 4 months is we have been able to get to an understanding and to sign a new memorandum, a new agreement with the constructor, which is Alstom Power. And Alstom will be also making feasibility studies of the CCS installation, which is going to be installed on this particular unit. Also, we were able to only slightly postpone the online date of this unit, which we previously have foreseen somewhere around the last days of 2010 or first days of 2011. Currently, the COD, the commission date, is forecasted to be April 2011, which means that beginning from April 2011, we should have the unit online and producing power, which means all technological aspects like technical runs, technical procedures will be finished before April 2011. With regards to Bełchatów facility, we have been also successful in opening a new pit, a new field of brown coal. It is the satellite deposit, which is called Szczerców. It was the crowning of a 5-year investment cycle, which consumed over 1 billion zlotys, and the field is operational, and we are extracting brown coal from September onwards. With regard to other projects in generation, the Opole tender is currently running just as scheduled. We foresee that the signing of the contract should take place more or less on the end of third quarter or beginning of fourth quarter, which means that the prepayments for this particular investments should be already done and booked this year. We foresee that the prepayments should not exceed 600 million zlotys for that year, for year 2010. The other tender which we are talking about was the Turów extension. We are accelerating hardly this particular project. It is also a project which is fired or fed by brown coal, which means a very good rate of return. Turów is the location of this particular power plant is very close to German and Slovak border, which means that the investment cycle has to undergo specific annotation process between German and Czech local authorities, and we foresee that this process should take additionally 1 to 1.5 years, and only after this time we would be going the hard way or the normal usual way. We would be able to start the tender. Now, since the tender will take approximately 1 year, what we want to do is to make a parallel tender alongside all these paperwork that we have to do with Germans and Slovak and Czech authorities, and we foresee that we would be able to launch the tender for the Turów extension early second half of 2010, which means that in the whole investment cycle, we should be able to accelerate by roughly 12-15 months time the process of building the new Turów unit. Nuclear generation opportunities, as said, delivered, as said. We have been able to construct and to get online the company which will be managing the nuclear generation business. We have also started the SPV, the actual SPV, which will develop the first nuclear power plant in Poland. As you might know, this morning the Polish Ministry of Economy has published the Polish list of potential locations of NPPs in Poland, and we are very glad that this actually has been delivered, because we are now able to choose among 2 or 3 best locations, which are all located in northern part of Poland. With regards to partners which will cooperate with PGE, we have signed 2 memorandum of understandings between one of them between us and Électricité de France. The other one is DG Hitachi Nuclear Power of America, which means that we currently have 2 options on the table, which means French or Japanese American technology. There are still 3-4 other major constructors or know-how deployers in the world, and I think we will not stop or we will not fix ourselves only on 2 bidders, and we will try to enlarge the portfolio of potential partners in the following year. Fact is that our goal, which is for 2010 having the consortium in place, which means we should know which technology we take under consideration in building Polish NPPs and what partner or partners will participate in the process. Financial performance, slide 8. As said, the strong profitability growth. Now, one remark to the sales line. We have reported last year revenues in excess of 20 billion zlotys. On the table that you have before you, you can see that 2008 we report just shy of 19.5, which means that there was a revaluation, and I would like to clarify this process. We have not been able, in half a year ago, we were not able to report as clean as we would like to, and part of our revenues and cost items was artificially turned up because of the fact that we are not able to filter all intergroup payments, and we have been able to clear the picture by 1.2 billion zlotys, which in effect decreased our revenue and cost items. From 2010 onwards, we will report totally transparent the intercompany payments. It was a significant group of 40 companies. However, we have not been able to filter all of those intercompany payments, intercompany settlements previously. Today, fact is that the original sales of 19.4 billion zlotys has been enlarged by 11%. The major drivers of this were, of course, favorable prices in Poland, but also we have been pretty active on the TPA market, gaining new customers because of our product, which is the cheapest on the market. EBITDA margin improvement by over 6 percentage points to just shy of 37%. which means that we currently hold place number 3 in Europe, considering big European players. Here I would like to clarify maybe the Bloomberg annotations that you might have read, that we are not pessimistic about results or whatever, but please do not ask us about potential next year improvements, which will be in excess of 50% year to year. We consider those results to be good, and we consider that we should be able to sustain high profitability in the next years. Definitely 2010 will be a slightly more difficult year, because we are doing a significant modernization on our generation fleet, which means that our production quotas will be slightly, but only very slightly, decreased. But the slight decrease in EBITDA we would like to cover, or more than cover, by spin-offs or sale of non-energy assets. Two of them already mentioned, which is Polkomtel and Exotel, but also a lot of other companies, exceeding 150 of them within the capital group. LTC compensation payments in excess of 1.5 billion zlotys. It is the last year we have received such significant compensation claimants. As you know, we are in dispute with the Polish regulator. We hope to have the final outcome of this in year 2010, and that should shape the future for the company, or shape the future for the LTC compensation line. We can say that we see the first line, we say in Polish, the first light in the tunnel, which means that the very aggressive interpretation, which was previously effected by the president of the Polish regulating body, is getting less tense, and we see that they finally understand our proposals and arguments. Profitability with segment analysis. A few remarks on this. As in the last years, the king in Poland stays generation, which is delivering roughly 70% of our EBITDA. Here you can see an increase of over 33% year-to-year basis, which was the effect of rising prices, but also the effect of a concrete or solid state performance, financial performance by our companies, which we were not able to change during the year. And I mean Bełchatów plant, or the Bełchatów power plant. Bełchatów power plant has had a financial facility which did not enable us to change prices or change volumes of energy without the notification or approval of financing banks. We have been successful in finally getting the company free of this facility. Last week we have announced that we will pay back the 1.6 billion current engagement of commercial banks, which means that the most significant company within our capital group will be a free company, free in the sense that we will be able finally to shape the margin structure, the margin structure, the cost items, production quotas, or the capital structure of the Bełchatów unit. Nothing of those items could have been steered by us on a free foot level previously, before the facility was paid back. Renewable sector, slight decrease, the sole decrease within our capital group. The decrease is not because of operational faults. It is in fact a booking procedure. Some receivables had to be written off, and it exceeded roughly 20 million zlotys. Thus, you will see a decrease on a year-to-year basis. Wholesale is the same effect. It is a basis effect of allowances which were booked in 2008. So, in fact, the drastical increase that you can see is effectively a base effect factor, because we have done some significant allowance bookings in 2008. Distribution slightly up by roughly 5%. It is, as we have said, the president of the regulating body in Poland is behaving the way they should, which means the regulating body is increasing our RAB value, which means that we should have a nice steadily increase in the distribution business in the following years to come. 2009 being the first of them. Retail sales, a significant increase of roughly quadrupled. It was the effect of TPA proactive sale and very benefiting prices on the market. The other segment, other businesses, you can see a slight increase of 24.8%. It was the major driver of this is the net result, or EBITDA result of our subsidiary, which is Exatel. The company improved its financial performance significantly over the last 2 years. Balance sheet view, and as I said, the most significant item is we get rid of subordinated debt within the company. Reason for this, we want to organize PGE SA as the central bank for our subsidiaries. That is reason number one. But of course, reason number two is our current standing and rating. The rating agency look very favorably at the fact that we get rid of subordinated loan, be it operational reasons, which I mentioned earlier on, but also pure cost reasons, because we, as the consolidated company within the group, the mother company, are able to secure financing on much better terms than our subsidiaries, which is of course favorably looked upon by rating agencies. I think I stop here at the numbers. Definitely you have some words after the presentation, Mr. President. Future outlook for the company.
These are the facts, and probably you want to know what will happen in the next following months, years. Just a few hints from our side regarding market. Currently we face recovery on the electricity market. The electricity consumption is growing from December onwards. We faced in December 1.5% increase on the whole market, not in PGE. That's figures coming from national operator. In January and February it was in between 3 and 4% increase of electricity consumption. But please remember that last year it was 4 to 6% electricity decrease, and in PGE it was much less than 4, much less. So the figures, you cannot put all of these figures directly on transfer these figures to PGE. But anyhow, market is recovering. That's the good news to us. Prices, second factor on the market. Volumes are clear, are growing. Prices. Current prices on the wholesale market are a bit below than the average prices for the whole previous year. So the prices are also recovering on the market. Currently, there are only a few zlotys below the average price being in 2009. Also, quite good news. So market seems recovery. Is recovering. Seems quite okay, with stable growth. That's the first market hint from our side. Second, LTC path is well known to all of you. It will decrease in next following years, and it will influence our results. But anyhow, in the first years, it will be compensated, as mentioned by Mr. Topolnicki, will be compensated by one-offs coming directly from divestiture of non-core assets. That's clear. Tender in Opole will be finalized this year, and we will choose EPC contractor this year. Bełchatów will start its new unit. Will start its operation in April 2011. So medium term hint from our side. Tender in Opole should start in Turów should start this year. Distribution, that's really important. RAB value will grow, so stable growth in distribution business, and we want to invest into distribution just to decrease grid losses, transmission losses in distribution. This direct and immediate payback coming to the company. We want to decrease 7 to 8% losses just to the average on the German market, 3 to 4. Of course, it won't come in 1 year, but that's the reason of our huge investments into distribution sector. And of course, final stage of legal consolidation. It will come this year, and we will start second phase of restructuring from 2011 onwards. We want to finish this project in 2013, and as mentioned previously, we want to present detailed figures in fourth quarter this year, maybe first quarter 2011. That's just few hints for the short-term future, I would say, for the next following months. Thank you for coming, and please, if you have any question, please ask us.
So if you have any questions, we are ready.
That's excellent. So
All
it means
clear.
you are satisfied.
Which means all
Yeah.
clear.
Unfortunately, there is a question.
Good morning.
Louder, please.
Thank you.
Okay, for 2010, more than 90% is more than 85% is contracted, more than 85%, and the remaining volume is sold on the spot market for 2010. And we signed long-term contracts for the next following years. Currently, I can't present exact figures, but anyhow, these are very good contracts to our generation companies. We are satisfied with these contracts. Prices for 2010, as mentioned, as the current wholesale prices, close to the average price for 2009, bit below in some cases. So in general, that's really close to 2009.
The capex guidance question, we should be able to surpass 4 billion zlotys. As said, the project in Bełchatów, it was postponed, or should I say moved over from 2009 to 2010. So effectively what will happen, we will have more capex in 2010 to cover. And also the fact that we will have the prepayment for the Opole tender should increase the capex level. So I would say at least 4. At least 4, with the next year on the same level or surpassing that level.
We've mentioned credit rating agencies during the presentation, and we called out Richard Miracki of Moody's to ask questions. So the first question of Richard is, could you please comment on government plans on further privatization in terms of size and timing?
It is not a question to us, I would say. It is a question to the main shareholder. Still, for us, official statement is 10% this year. I would say the question should be transferred directly to the Ministry of the State Treasury, not to us. So it is really difficult to answer, but as mentioned, as far as we know, 10% this year.
Okay, the next question is, could you comment on refinancing credit line for Bełchatów in terms of timing and sources for this refinancing?
Yes, the term sheet of the refinancing looks as follows. The decision has been taken Friday last week, and the execution time or the execution date is 12th of April, which means that on that date we should repay 1.65 billion zlotys. The sources will be our current funds. We still owe, we are still in the possession of roughly 3 billion zlotys of surplus cash laying on our bank accounts. The remaining money has been used as to reduce the current lines. Of course, we have a lot of firepower because of that. But idea is to refinance it by our current cash with our current cash position, and we will see, because it was originally well over 10-year financing facility. We will see whether we will use some other reasons. The most obvious reason would be Eurobond, which could be used this year to refinance the investment facility for Bełchatów unit. We will see about that. Definitely now, because of the fact that we have gained access to a lot of surplus money in fourth quarter 2009, we are using this money to reshape or rebuild the financing structure within the group.
Okay, the other question is, what's the time frame and cost expectation of nuclear power plant construction?
Timetable is the same as mentioned before. We want to start with the first nuclear unit in 2020. That's clear. But this year we want to finalize our works in the working groups Currently we have 2, we will have more. We want to have final consortium end of this year. We want to initially choose technology in which we want to build the first nuclear power plant in Poland. And finally, we want to have the first site for the first NPP in Poland. This is for this year. Cost still our assumption based on discussion with potential partners is 3 million euro per megawatt installed capacity, and we also base on the last contract in one of the Gulf country tender, yes, in one of the Gulf country, and the price in this NPP is much below 3 million euro per megawatt installed capacity. So that's the good news to us.
Current market data.
Chance for domestic analyst.
Paweł Puchalski, Tom Maklerski, BZBK. First question, will you participate in a tender for Energa?
Currently there is no tender. Currently we know a lot of rumors on the market. We don't want to comment any rumors being in the newspaper. If the tender is on the table, we will make a detailed analysis, maybe due diligence, and after that we will decide. But anyhow, so I'm a bit surprised because we see a lot of comments against PGE to invest into Energa. But anyhow, that's from one point of view. I'm a bit surprised by from the second point from the other side. I'm satisfied because it shows that we are the best investor because everyone, that's a standard procedure. Everyone is against the best player, the best investor. So we are satisfied that the market sees us as the one of the best investor. Yeah, as mentioned before, we presented it. One very strong generation like in PGE and a bit weaker distribution and retail. Energa could potentially compensate the second leg, and of course improve or set up best practices in renewables because they are much more experienced. So a lot of potential synergies, but currently there is no tender on a table. So we know only rumors. So that's why we don't want to comment anything.
The other question is about renewables. When is your next wind farm kicking off?
Now the outline of our capex plan within the renewable sector, as you see, we do not comment. Fact is that we were very aggressive in 1.5 years ago. We were very aggressive with that, and there is a lot of backfire with regard to those type of investments in Poland. What we are able to do is to enlarge our current projects. What we are doing now is an extension of the Kamieńsk wind farm by roughly 2 times. The construction process will start this year. There are some good opportunities to invest in the Turów region, and I think we will follow that. Apart from that, I cannot really speak about big time investments in the renewables sector because we do not treat as such projects biogas units or small hydro units, which are like 0.5 or maybe 1 megawatt each. That will be 2 or 3 constructed within the next 2 years. Definitely with regard to our renewable line, we need to reconsider our approach, and I can say that definitely there will be some decisions taken within this year that will change the shape of this particular business line. And as said, in Poland it is extremely very tough. Maybe we will get to a decision to invest into renewable sector outside of Poland, if the current legislative framework will not change. It is one of the options lying on the table.
Oh, so there's another question from some anonymous guy from the internet. You mentioned a small year-over-year decline in EBITDA expected in 2010. I assume this is before the potential one-offs, but is it a single-digit or double-digit decline?
The decline in the production quota will be definitely single-digit. Or should I say single-digit is the number of terawatt hours that we will produce less in 2010. So it will not be a drastic decrease or anything like that. But because there have been some questions like that to the president, so gentlemen, how much next year? 50% up, or 60, or maybe 70? So that is something that we want to clarify, that those years are over. We definitely, please do not expect that we will be increasing the EBITDA by another 50% next year. There are some limits to that, and we have done, I consider, a pretty good job over the last 2 years, increasing very significantly the EBITDA. If I'm not wrong, the sole company on the market in Poland which is performing like that.
And 2 questions regarding carbon dioxide. Could you please clarify if the production of new Bełchatów unit would be fully covered by the CO2 allowances? And second question, has there been any progress on the free CO2 allocations after 2012?
After 2020? After 12? No news, no new news with regards to this. The last news, probably the public knows that Poland has won against the European Union, and some additionals might get in, but it is not our job to comment on that. With regard to the footprint of the new Bełchatów power plant, yes and no. Currently, the Bełchatów unit, I have seen it on my Bloomberg 1 hour ago, exceeded by roughly 2.2 million ton the volume. Without the CCS installation, Bełchatów will be short of CO2 allowances. The new unit, sorry. However, if the CCS installation goes online and will be actually working, we will decrease the footprint by 33%, which will cover the problem, more than cover the problem.
Okay, there's also one, I would say, technical question from Peter Prizalm of Avaron. Can you repeat how many new shares will be issued in the course of this consolidation of subholding companies? And I will quickly answer. It will be up to 139,698,146 shares. Up to, if all employees will admit their shares for conversion. This will be obviously a dilution for major shareholders, but this dilution will be a cost for decreasing the minorities, so the effect for shareholders should be neutral.
Up to 7.5% within the business, so it's
that's right.
easier to remember.
Just 10 seconds more to give internet guys a chance, because
Shy guys.
there's a little small lag. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no other questions, thank you very much for coming. We are ready to answer all your questions at any time given. Just please to call us or email us, and see you at the conference after Q1 results. Thank you.
Dziękujemy bardzo.